Each year, we ask those attending the Aspen Economic Strategy Group meetings about what they're reading or what they've read that they recommend. This year, before giving us his recommendation, U.S. Ambassador to Japan Rahm Emanuel told us about the library in his official residence in Tokyo and his efforts to beef it up.
So one day, early on in my tenure, the person's a little late, so I actually go over and look at the books. And it's Tokyo on $5 a day. Kids, stuff that you would leave, behind at a hotel, and it's a bed and breakfast. It is a mess. And I love libraries. I do read on a Kindle now, but we have 3 at our home in Chicago. I just love them. And I decided, Amy and I decided that's going to be our project. So I know you find it hard to believe, but I raised $150,000 for this initiative pretty quickly. And there's 2 things. So we redid about 450 to 500 books, all on the presidential history, great American literature and poetry, great American events. Then we did a section on both Japanese history, Japanese authors, literature, etc. And it's a traditional Americana, beautiful library with gold at the top, and it's all walnut wood paneling, if you can kind of put that in your mind's eye. And the books are worthy of the library, and the library is worthy of the books.
Not surprisingly, Rahm Emanuel is quite a reader. One of the books he recommends highly is about the plight of males in our society today, Of Boys and Men by Richard Reeves.
On kind of sociology, the 2 things that I do this, one, of boys and men. I think we have a challenge at home, specifically among boys and men. And I think I always do one sociological book. This year I went back, Bowling Alone. You know what year it came out? 2000. And when you think about where America is, you think about the opiate crisis, you think about the lack of community, etc. How one professor, looking at data 3 turns ahead, realizes where America is going.
Economist Jen Doleac of Arnold Ventures spends her life researching and then writing up her results. So she pointed us in the direction of a book about the difficulties in the creative process and how to overcome roadblocks. The War of Art by Steven Pressfield.
So one of my all-time favorites is called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. I was a longtime researcher, which meant my job was mostly writing, still is in many ways. And this book is basically all about how if you are engaged in any kind of creative pursuit, you have to just show up and work every day. Have a routine, show up at your desk, be a professional. Waiting for inspiration to strike is not the way any professional writer or creative is actually going to have their big ideas or get things done.
As president and COO of Blackstone, John Gray spends much of his time dealing with challenging situations, but not half so difficult as those faced by the survivors of the 18th century shipwreck told in the book he recommends, The Wager, a tale of shipwreck, mutiny, and murder.
More recently, I read The Wager, which was about a failed British expedition to chase down some Spanish ships in the 1740s. And I'm often interested in these people who face incredible challenges, and when they survive, and that perseverance. Shackleton was like that as well. In business and investing, oftentimes things go wrong. Not as bad as those books, but you learn a little bit, and you want to be smarter how to deal with crises and challenges.